evening, everyone, and welcome to the September 8th meeting of the Metuchen Borough Council. 29th. Boy, I thought I went into a time machine before this meeting started.
Fly.
Let's try this again. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the September 29th meeting of the Metuchen Borough Council, 2025. Adequate notice of this meeting has been given in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act pursuant to Public Law 1975, Chapter 231. Said notice was published in the Home News Tribune on December 18, 2024, posted in Borough Hall and on file in the clerk's office. All requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act have been satisfied. Please join us for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please. Ms. Zupan?
Councilmember Branch?
Here.
Councilmember Jamboy?
Here.
Councilmember Hyman?
Here.
Councilmember Jethwani?
Here.
Councilmember Kandel?
Here.
Council President Delia?
Here.
Mayor Bush?
Here. This time, I'm going to ask for a motion to open the agenda session.
I make a motion to open the agenda
There's
session.
been a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Been a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
We are open for agenda items. Anybody want to add, subtract, anything?
I don't have anything for the
Nothing?
agenda session.
Nothing on this side? Okay, is there a motion to close the agenda
I
session?
make a motion to close the
There's
agenda
been a
session.
motion to close the agenda session. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Agenda session is closed. Public comments are here. Actually, before we do public comments, I'd like to do a proclamation if I can. We have some representatives here regarding Metuchen's Tree Ambassador Program, which is a partnership between the Metuchen Shade Tree Commission and the Metuchen Board of Education. I'll do a little explanation of that if I can by reading the proclamation, and then I'll ask for representatives of the organizations to join us in the front. Whereas the Metuchen Tree Ambassadors Program, which is a partnership between the Metuchen Shade Tree Commission and the Metuchen Board of Education, is devoted to strengthening the ecological sustainability in our community by increasing youth's understanding of and direct engagement with the role, needs, and benefits of our trees. And whereas Tree Ambassadors is a thriving collaboration between the Metuchen Board of Education, the Metuchen Shade Tree Commission, Middlesex County Parks, Rutgers Cooperative Extension, St. Luke's Episcopal Church, the Garden Club of Metuchen, and the committed volunteerism of members in our community. And whereas in their inaugural year of 2024, the Tree Ambassadors Program successfully trained and guided 7 high school juniors who helped lead classroom sessions and planting of trees at elementary, middle, and high schools in our community. And whereas in their in their second year, Tree Ambassadors has engaged more than 10 high school juniors and seniors from Metuchen and Highland Park, whose devoted outreach saw them plant 4 trees at the Metuchen Public Library and conduct a community workshop at the library, which was attended by more than 30 adults who benefited from the knowledge, commitment, and foresight of the youthful Tree Ambassadors. Whereas Tree Ambassadors blend formal knowledge with real community impacts, engaging in tree planting, and nurturing ecological health as they partner now with a landscape architect firm to improve the planting of more native trees on the grounds of our schools. And whereas the Tree Ambassadors is being awarded the 2025 NJ Urban and Community Forestry Achievement Award, has received the Climate Award for the 2024 Governor's Environmental Excellence Awards, the second place award in the Governor's NJ 2025 Climate Challenge, and is being honored as a partner in the 2025 Green Team Collaboration Award with Metuchen Schools. Now, therefore, I, Jonathan M. Bush, Mayor of Metuchen, on behalf of the residents of Metuchen, wish to acknowledge and commend the Metuchen Tree Ambassadors Program and their supporters for all their time, dedication, and excellence in all they have achieved in advancing the benefits of trees in Metuchen. Thank you.
Everybody come up. All of the ambassadors and supporters, parents, come on up.
Of course. Of course.
What's your name? Being a high school principal, you guys come closer. This way. We want you in the middle. You guys are in the middle. This is where your prayer screens work. This is important. Yeah. Well, why don't you guys hold this?
Something you always.
Okay, on to public comment. Anybody from the community wishing to address the council, if you could just give your name and address for the record. Nate, just make sure to speak into the microphone, sir, okay?
I hope you'll excuse me, I'm having a little bit of a head cold.
Just name and address for the record, please.
I come here tonight to try to determine why the council has not responded to the issues I raised over 2 months ago. At the meeting of 6/30/25, my comments included, quote, I would suggest that interested members of the council could perhaps ride down High Street and view the effects that these decisions have had on the neighborhood, end quote. As I received no response from any council member, I assumed there was no interest in the concerns of this resident at 235 High Street. We have a Human Rights Commission, yet no one showed any concern or empathy when an elderly resident complained about the loss of his quality of life due to the construction of these monstrosities. Perhaps our future council candidates will hold a different PhD, preserve human dignity for all residents. By not responding to my suggestion, the council members showed a total lack of any intellectual curiosity in determining the rationality of my concerns. Regarding my comments at the 7/28/25 meeting, I broke the issues into 4 distinct categories and requested that the member who provided a liaison to the different commissions provide me with some resolution of these issues. I provided details and photographs to prove my point. The issue with the destruction of 6 healthy evergreen trees along my property line with 239 High Street was brought up during my comments. I expected a response from the Shade Tree Commission, but received none. I also requested confirmation that the new sewer lines were inspected and approved by the DPW or the town engineer. Again, no response. Finally, I notified the council regarding the situation at the 241 High Street subdivision, which I believe to be hazardous to pedestrians and cyclists. No response from the Traffic and Transportation Committee. Maybe if I just received a note saying, thank you, Mr. Owens, for your concern regarding pedestrian and cyclist safety, that would have gone a long way to allay my concerns. That my words and the words of other residents were falling on deaf ears. To date, I have not received any response from the Traffic Committee. To emphasize my concerns, a 13-year-old boy was tragically killed last week by a landscaping vehicle riding an e-bike in Scotch Plains. This tragedy resulted in grief counselors being assigned to the schools. I will not accept the idea that any member of this board or any of my fellow citizens would welcome the sight of grief counselors in our schools. However, there must be stricter enforcement of our traffic laws regarding the activities of contractors and landscapers, not just in words, but in actions. While campaigning, our elected officials tout their awards as stalwarts of pedestrian and cyclist safety. When time comes for our officials to confront the contractors and landscapers regarding their careless operations and blatant disregard of all established safety regulations, they meekly grow back into their shells of immunity. The streets and sidewalks belong to the people of Metuchen, not the contractors. Perhaps I should be stating my case to the Aging Commission regarding elder abuse. I am an 81-year-old man, 82, God willing, in January. I have lived in this borough for more than 53 years. I believe I've earned more respect than this body has provided me. Stonewalling my request for information, failure to respond to any of my concerns, promising that you will review my questions and respond to me, but not fulfilling these promises. This is my 5th visit to the council meeting, and I still walk away with a feeling of despair and disappointment, knowing full well there is no desire by this board to address any of my complaints. In the mayor's response to my questions at the 8/25/25 meeting, the mayor stated, and I quote, "The zoning and planning boards were autonomous, and the council has no influence in their decision-making. Perhaps a slight influence at the planning board. A slight influence. I believe that possibly the mayor has forgotten that both he and Mr. D'Elia sit on the planning board. And in fact, Mr. D'Elia introduced the resolution for the cannabis facility. Mr. D'Elia also seconded his own motion at the subsequent meeting. No influence. In addition, regarding no links between the zoning, planning, and council, I believe the links are as follows. Planning Board Attorney Robert Renaud, Planning Board Engineer Nikki Lolotis, Planning Board Planner Chris Cosenia. These individuals also occupy the same roles on the zoning board. That's about the tightest link one can have in a chain. In addition, during my research, I came across the name of Brian Tobin, who sits on the zoning board. There's also a Brian Tobin who's head of the Metuchen Democratic Party, Mayor and Council Democratic Party. That just about completes the chain. The race for governor of the state of New Jersey has now begun hers. The unceasing ads and debate rhetoric contain the continuing inane dronings. Candidates promise to cut taxes, provide housing, cut energy costs, improve community experience, build better roads, improve the schools, same old promises, yada, yada, yada. However, we cannot in good conscience yada, yada away murder. On September the 10th, 2025, a young man's life was snuffed out in a matter of seconds, all because he chose to share his opinions with anyone who wished to talk to him. I realize that the killing of Charlie Kirk has been in the news media for 2 weeks, so I will not offer anything new. However, this example of senseless killing has almost become commonplace in our culture. I was 19 years old when President Kennedy was assassinated on November 22nd, 1963. It felt like a shield of invincibility that the American people had experienced since the end of World War II was ripped away from the American psyche. If the President of the United States can be murdered in broad daylight, what security did any of the common people have? In the 1960s, when folk music was popular, Pete Seeger wrote a song called "Where Have All the Flowers Gone?" There's a phrase in that which asks, when will they ever learn? When will they ever learn? There are many more examples that prove what a dangerous and unstable world in which we live. I've watched those 2 large boxes being constructed next to me. I've watched these wonder who will occupy these buildings. New neighbors have always been a crapshoot. However, with the failed policy of open borders where millions upon millions upon millions of undocumented people were permitted to enter the country, and the purely political policy of sanctuary cities, the odds of any new neighbors having a bond of commonality is certainly diminished. I previously quoted a phrase from Lincoln's Gettysburg Address. We are now engaged in a great civil war testing whether that nation or any nation so conceived or so dedicated can long endure. Today we're involved in a second civil war, testing whether this nation will continue as conceived and dedicated. It is no longer a war between the blue and the gray, rather battles between the blue and red, a continuation of the war between the states. Today's battlegrounds are not Antietam, Vicksburg, or Gettysburg. They are Washington, D.C., New York City, Chicago, Los Angeles, Portland, Oregon, along the southern and northern borders, Silicon Valley, and yes, even in New Jersey. I never thought I would live to see the day when, in America, law enforcement entities would be facing each other. It is said that some words are spoken that are so profound that they are said to be etched in stone. Mr. Lincoln's words are etched in stone in Washington. The 10 Commandments were also etched in stone. Hopefully those words will be etched into the hearts of our fellow citizens before they're shredded by hate and spread on the ash heap of history. I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Owens. I'm going to turn to our, just to clarify the governance structure issue for Mr. Owens, just to clarify what I said, I'm going to turn to our attorney, Mr. Murphy.
Sure. You turned it off.
There you go. You're on.
Okay.
Yep.
I just want to, point out, you had mentioned relating to the zoning and the planning board. The zoning and the planning board have certain statutory authorities and duties and responsibilities and powers. Those are from state statute and the statutes that permit the creation of the land use boards, but both of them combined. There are certain, authority and things that they have power to do. I'll give you an example. The master plan. Those authorities, there are some of the authorities that are specific to the planning board and the zoning boards. And this township, council and as well as the mayor, while some of them may interact or there may be a liaison on the planning board, that doesn't mean that this council can usurp that authority that's delegated by statute to the planning board. And frankly, if they were to do so, they would be subject to a challenge by either the planning board themselves, because, they do have certain authority that's delegated just to them, but they could also be subject to challenge by any applicant relating to any action taken by this mayor and council interfering with those determinations. So I just wanted to point that out, and the zoning board as well. Yeah, the zoning board essentially, reviews applications for, variances, while the council adopts ordinances, land use ordinances, and this is just going back to the interplay, even though the town council passes zoning ordinances, they still have to be referred to the planning board for their review and for their opinion relating to whether they're consistent or inconsistent with the master plan. If things are not or inconsistent with the master plan, then it requires a supermajority, but that only goes to a zoning ordinance. The applications before the zoning board are variances from ordinance relief generally. But after the zoning board acts, this, or the application is filed, this, council, or this body doesn't have jurisdiction, and like I said, would be subject to a challenge if they sought to interfere in those applications.
Yeah, and I'm just looking for the legal clarification, Mr. Owens. Mr. Owens?
Mr. Owens?
Mr. Owens, Mr. Owens, sir?
Okay.
I just want to make sure that you hear my answer. Can you hear me okay? Okay. Can you hear me better now? Can you hear me okay now? Okay. I can certainly talk to you after if you can't hear this. I'm trying to speak as closely to the microphone as I possibly can. Is that better? Okay. Mr. Owens, I understand that you're upset. You've come to, I think, 5, like you said, I don't remember how many meetings in a row you've come to. One of them I was on vacation with my family, but I know that there's been a series of consecutive meetings. You've been a resident a long time. You told us the care you have for this community. I don't think any of us doubt your sincerity, but there is something that's very important that we keep saying, or we don't necessarily say it up here, but it's been told to you. You've had multiple meetings in person in Borough Hall with borough officials. You've made multiple Open Public Records Act requests to the borough for information and records that have been fulfilled and provided to you. You've had multiple phone calls with borough officials. You've had meetings with the police department, we have explained, and again, this is just, some of this stuff, we're just stuck with the process. From what I understand, the issue that you're describing and what's upsetting you most, from what I hear from you, is something that happened in 2019. And as our attorney just explained, once a determination is made by a land use body, whether it's your issue or not, there is limited ability for this borough to act. And in as much as, as mayor and council, we want to be able to support our residents, and when an issue comes to our attention, if we're able, we try to provide support. We can't fix a zoning determination that was made so many years ago. It's just the law. And I'm sorry that you've been experiencing in that, but as I'm going to say to you tonight, which, I think we've tried to say to you, I think in person, although I haven't been part of these meetings, I know that our borough administrator has. I know that there was a meeting, I think, with the police. I think there was a meeting with our construction department. There's nothing we can do for you at this time. And it's hard for us to say that because you want to be able to provide support and answers to residents, but there's nothing we can do. And so just speaking straight, I want to make sure I said that. Are there any other comments from residents right now at this time? Yes, sure. Just name and address for the record, please. Oh, no, if you can come to the microphone. Yes. Hi. You look very familiar.
Diana Lunn and Barbara Munley, 49 Home Street.
Hello to you both.
Thank you.
Welcome back.
We've been residents for 27 years. We want to address our concerns regarding the garage being erected at 39 Carlton, which is directly behind our house. It's a two-story structure, which is very large. It runs a good part of the length of our backyard. And I understand from looking it up that the regs are a story and a half or 20 feet. We're concerned that the actual measurements might exceed the allowable height. When we asked the inspector about measuring the height, his response was that they go by what the builder says the height is. They don't actually make a measurement. And in my mind, that's not an inspection. We're also concerned that there isn't a full-time inspector on staff at the borough right now. There's a part-time one. There was no building permit displayed on the front of the house until September 22nd, which was well after construction began, and it was only because we made 3 phone calls to the zoning department. And there is one permit displayed. There isn't a permit about electrical work, which I assume is going to be done. I believe the code also says that you can't increase the impervious surface area on your property, and this structure is considerably larger in square footage than the shed that was there previously. And we also question whether the driveway is going to be paved. It's currently gravel, which would also increase the impervious square footage. The structure completely blocks our view when we look out the back of our house. We want there to be inspections to ensure that the structure meets what the building codes are and doesn't exceed it. And we think the town should consider the size of these structures in relation to the size of the lot in the future. And we do have a picture.
Yeah, I saw that in the email that you sent, which is like yeah.
We did provide a copy.
Yeah, I saw in the email, and we have a copy of that. Are you finished? I just want to. Barbara, did you want to say something as well?
No, just.
If you can get closer to the microphone, if you can, just so that we can make sure that we hear you.
No, it's just, I wouldn't want to see other residents wake up and find, a two-story thing in their backyard, and we went around to see if there's building permits. There's no building permits, and, the law is the law, the zoning thing is the zoning thing, and we respect that, but, in future, we live in postage stamp lots, so when a big two-story thing goes up, I mean, we're outdoor people, we're out there all the time, and I just think it should be a consideration for the future, how big these structures are that go up. So that's all I wanted to say.
Thank you. And with respect to the issue that you both have raised, we have your email. I think you even suggested you might come tonight, and we appreciate that you're here. We have our building department and inspectors looking at it. We don't have full-time inspectors because it's not cost-effective for the borough to do that, so we do share, and sometimes the scheduling takes a little longer, but it's much more efficient for the taxpayers to do it that way. But these are people that we've typically worked with for many, many years, and we have, strong working relationships, so we are looking into this. I know that the wheels of government sometimes works more slowly than all of us, including people sitting up here, I certainly can't promise you anything, but there are ordinances that are required to be followed. Obviously, permits are required to be taken out. So, we'll certainly follow up on everything that you've brought to our attention. I don't have an answer for you tonight, but I appreciate you bringing to our attention. Our borough administrator was writing things down as you were talking, and someone will follow up with you.
Thank you for.
All right. Thank you for being
hearing us
here.
out.
We
Thank you.
appreciate it. Any other comments from members of the community? Just name and address for the record, please.
Hi, my name is Tony Faber. I'm actually from Scotch Plains, 1180 Raritan Road. Is it allowable? For
Absolutely. Absolutely. Go ahead.
I'm here to invite the council to consider the adoption of a resolution going forward about something that's affecting all of our communities in New Jersey, and that is the ongoing ICE raids in the community that have been taking place. I don't know about you. I live in Scotch Plains. I've been seeing them in Plainfield, Iselin, all around our counties here in a way that is not normal and not common to other administrations. And I'm inviting you to consider a resolution in support of the Immigrant Trust Act, which is a law before the Assembly and Senate, which would codify the separation of local police and government from ICE's operations in our state. As you probably know, the 10th Amendment makes it so that local governments do not have to do the work of the federal government. And in this case, Jack Citarelli has said if he wins the governorship, he will have local police, including the police in Metuchen, working with ICE to detain people, which would be a disaster for public safety for all of our communities. No one in our communities would feel safe coming to the police, coming to government, coming to schools, coming to hospitals, coming to the DMV if they felt that they could be suddenly disappeared. And this goes beyond undocumented immigrants. This goes to members of their family who may live or be close to those people who may not also want to be used to entrap people. I don't see how that sort of cooperation would make our communities safer. In my view, that would be a form of a reign of terror and would drive people underground. It would also require communities to cooperate in a way that would cost the communities money as well as they were required to house and take care of ICE in their operations. So I have documents here that are a sample resolution. There's been a lot of momentum around this. Towns all around New Jersey, including Edison, have just recently adopted resolutions in support of this that includes what the Assembly bill is and why it's important that I would leave with the council if that's okay.
Absolutely. Tony, if you can,
Yeah.
welcome to Metuchen. We're glad you're here. If you could
Thanks.
provide a copy of those to our borough clerk, who's sitting on your right.
Yep.
We would take that certainly, and we appreciate it. And I've said before, as you're giving this to Ms. Zupan, that immigrants are our neighbors, coworkers, family, and obviously Metuchen is much stronger, and our whole region, our whole country is much stronger because of them, and we have to take steps to protect our neighbors. And so, without committing to anything more than that, I'll say I appreciate your words tonight, and that obviously our police do, and we, or I should say, as mayor, I'm in regular touch with our chief of police with respect to these issues, and to ensure that we follow exactly the law and not doing anything more than is absolutely necessary to do to make sure that our neighbors are protected and that ICE dots every I and crosses every T before they come into to our communities. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Any other members of the community wishing to address the council? Yes, just name and address for the record, please.
Does this work okay?
It works great.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm Catherine Hunt. I'm in Monroe Township. 121P Lowell Lane, which is Middlesex County.
Sure is.
And as you know, we've had quite a number of ICE raids in Middlesex County as well. And I'm part of a community group, which includes several churches and other community groups. And say during the raids and after those raids, we're working with the families and trying to help the families. Often there are our church members. Many times our kids go to school with their kids. So these families are broken and they're now missing a breadwinner, a mother, father, wife, husband. And so that means for us in the community, we searching for support, how we can support the members of our community. We don't just do food banks, but we try to link people with how to find their disappeared member that nobody knows where they went, how they link with legal help, how they link with how they can pay their rent, just all the practical things, how we can connect them with social services, social workers, and so forth. So that's pretty much what we do as a community group. And another thing that we do is we teach people their rights. Businesses have rights too. Many of these businesses they're rated as well. And they don't know that they don't have to let ICE into the private spaces of their businesses. Anybody can come into the public space, but they don't know that they don't have to let ICE come in and bring dogs and guns and drones into the workspace and take away their workers that they've spent money to train, and ruin their whole workday, and then they have to reassemble. So it's something that a municipality could do, is to help the businesses understand, and also the people, just the individuals, understand what their rights are. So it's appropriate to bring this up in a municipal situation, because this is how we got our Fourth Amendment in the first place. And I don't know if you've ever made a promise to support the Constitution of the United States. I certainly have, one time or another. So the Fourth Amendment began in municipalities when the British troops could come in, take any man, woman, and child in your home, any animal, any of your stuff, your crops, whatever. And people didn't like that, so they went to their municipalities. They started passing, resolutions, ordinances, laws. And then as these different states developed, this made it into the state constitutions and finally into the federal constitution, which is how we got our Fourth Amendment. So one thing we know is that when ICE comes in, they have no regard for the Constitution. They have no regard for the Fourth Amendment. They seldom, if ever, use a judicial warrant, which means they would have to find probable cause and actually name a person. And most of the people that they take aren't criminals. They're just breadwinners. They've been here 20 years, many more than that, just raising families. So this is something that we can do as municipalities. If we hear that there's an ICE raid coming, let the people know. Use the Nixle system or whatever system that you're using. And, stay home, ICE raid coming. You can warn folks. And another thing, I'm an RN, and as RNs, we identify ourselves to patients. We're accountable for everything we do, and we have to write it in the chart. We have the law looking over our shoulders constantly, as we should. Now, do we want our police on their off hours working with ICE, wearing masks, being unidentifiable, not having to write anything, not having to be accountable for anything at all? I don't, and I certainly hope that you don't either. So I'm also hoping that you will pass a resolution in favor of the Immigrant Trust Act, which will codify our response. You know.
Thank you, Catherine.
Thank you very much.
We appreciate it. We appreciate you being
Okay,
here.
and we can, bring any materials or send them to the clerk.
Yeah, and
That is
look, in
needed.
Metuchen, we're pretty familiar with this issue. I'll just tell you, in 2018, we had a community member, a father, someone that many people in this community were very close to, who dropped his daughter off at Metuchen High School, turned right out of the driveway onto Grove Avenue, and was picked up by ICE officials. His family didn't even know where he was for hours because no Metuchen Police Department official was notified of his detainment, and this town erupted thereafter. And you can look in Google and find the articles.
Yeah, I've seen.
Yeah, and he's somebody, thank God, who's back here in our community, and he's back with his family. This was not a threat to society. He was not someone who has been described on the types of people that some are concerned about, and our community rallied. And we do have a number of community residents who do work very hard with our businesses to help educate, exactly as you've described. This is a special place. I mean, I know you know because we're neighbors in Monroe, and Monroe is a special place to me too. My father lives there, and my grandfather lived there for many years. I know it pretty well. I know their mayor very well. But we take care of our own here. And as I mentioned to the prior speaker, treating immigrants with dignity is essential, and it's always imperative for us, and to do everything we can. Obviously, law enforcement has a job to do with respect to its responsibility to support federal action, but only as much as is legally required. And ICE has its legal responsibility. Similar to probable cause, it has exigent circumstances, for example, that it has to determine. So without getting into a complete discussion in public right now, I want you to know that we are very concerned about many of the issues that you've brought to our attention. We hear you, and thank you for coming tonight.
Well, you're welcome. And I think it is important for us to note the lawlessness of ICE.
I certainly hear your comment. Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you. Are there other members of the community wishing to address the council?
Hello. My name is Meg Loftus-Sukan. I live at 40 East Cedar Street. I will be brief, but I read that you guys were looking to approve the new Emergency Services Center. And I just wanted to flag for everybody who's here and anybody who's listening at home or catching up at work tomorrow, what a big deal this is for our community. I brought my mom. She's in town. I've never spoken at a borough council meeting before. I think it's really important that we do celebrate the wins when they happen. And I know that this was a really long time coming. I mean, decades in the making.
No vote yet. We haven't
No
had a
vote
vote
yet.
yet.
Please,
We haven't had a
please.
vote. It's on the agenda. It's on the
But
agenda.
this is something that I know has
Don't jinx
been
us.
taken a lot of work.
Sorry.
And it's also something that's very expensive. And I know that there was a lot of outside funding that was found because of the relationships that happen with our, people who work in the state government. And that's a job in and of itself that you have forged those relationships. So I just want to say thank you for the work that you're doing. This is going to keep our residents safe for generations to come. It's going to improve the safety for the people who work in that building. So thank you for what you're doing, and I'm very proud to be from Metuchen today.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you very much, Meg. Any other, we'll talk more about the Emergency Services Center as we get closer, where we still have a number of public comments. I see some hands and eyes that suggest that there's more people to come. If you can come to the microphone, whoever's next. It's not quite a line, but whoever walks up there is the next to speak. Name and address for the record, please.
Hi, I'm Mateo Lazaro, 65 Roosevelt Boulevard. I'm in Edison, actually, not Metuchen. But
What's your first name?
Mateo.
Mateo?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just have a very brief question regarding Resolution 248. I just want to know some clarification on the overall effects of the net budget for the
I'm
items.
sorry, if you can get closer to the microphone, I'm the one having trouble hearing. Go ahead.
Okay.
That's much better. Yeah, go ahead. What was your question about?
Just some clarification.
You were on, yeah, but what you were, is 2025, 248, you said?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, what was your question about?
Just some overall clarification on what the net effects of the overall budget would be.
Net effects of the overall budget?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know that we have that answer right off the top of our heads, do we? We don't. But if it's a question that you have and you want to email it to our borough administrator, I can give you the email address, mperelstein@metuchen.com, or you can email me, jbush, it's B-U-S-C-H, @metuchen.com. I can make sure that you get an answer as soon as we have the answer.
Thank you.
Okay? All right, thanks for being here. Any other questions or comments for council? Sir? You look interested. You're being too polite to everybody. You should take the step yourself. Yeah, go ahead.
I'll provide my name, and I want to keep it short and upbeat.
Okay,
Short
great.
and upbeat, especially because I realize it's been a long day for you. And
What's your name, sir?
yes, so I am. So good evening, Mayor, Council President, Council members, Borough Attorney, Borough Clerk. I am Laurent Jatunov, PhD. Only 1 year resident here in Metuchen.
Welcome.
I'm a tenant.
Can you move a little closer to the microphone?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's
Sorry.
okay. I don't know if we're having trouble hearing people tonight.
Yes.
I'm not sure what the story is.
It's
Go
me.
ahead.
It's probably me.
It's okay. Just stand closer to the microphone. It's okay. Yeah, that's
There you
better.
go.
Yes, thank you.
Perfect.
I'm a tenant at 195 Main Street. That's past Amboy. That's actually past High Street. And so after my lease ended August 31st, my rent was raised, let's put it this way, by almost 14%, $350. Chapter 147 caps increases at lease expiration to the lesser of the CPI formula, or 7.5%. So anyhow, so it should be 2.28%, not at almost 14%. I have reached out to management repeatedly, and the usual response is that lease stands as finalized, and so on. Similar answers. The lease has been executed. I have responded with email and with like a certified letter, and that the Metuchen Code supersedes any lease. So what brings me here is that with no active rent board, I'm asking the borough to confirm publicly that Chapter 147 applies to post-term increases at 195 Main Street, and to state what enforcement avenue residents should use when a landlord refuses to comply. I can provide documentation, and I seek an amicable resolution.
Okay, so I don't have the answer to your question as I sit here. Certainly, it's a question that, certainly you're asking for a question of legal compliance, and I just was whispering with our attorney to find out if he can look into your question. You said you sent a certified letter, you said? Was that to
This
your,
is just,
that was to your
it's a
landlord, but you
legal-
didn't send it to us, did you?
No, not to you, to them.
Okay.
Just
If you
like-
could send an email, it doesn't have to be a certified letter, okay? Just send an email to the same address that I just gave. You can send it to me at jbush@metuchen.com, or to our borough administrator, M. Perelstein, Perlstein, @metuchen.com. And,
What's the email?
well, you could see it, you could find it online. It's jbush@metuchen.com.
Jbush?
J-B-U-S-C, I'm like spelled the B-U-S-C-H.
No, that I know.
Okay,
Bush.
yeah. Send it to me and I'll forward it to the right people, and we'll look into what your concern is at a minimum.
I won't copy them. I don't want to.
Copy the landlord?
Yeah, I'll just send it to you.
You could do whatever you want, but I just want to let you know that we don't have the answer off the top of our head right now as we sit here, but we appreciate you coming to the microphone.
That would be awesome.
Okay, I mean, I can't promise you that the answer is what you think it is or isn't. We just don't know as we sit here, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Doctor, thank you for coming. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I only mentioned that like I was trying to be a little comedic.
That's okay. It's always, there's a reason we're called the Brainy Borough. We got a lot of people like you here. That's great. Any other comments or questions from the community?
My name is Mark Flaherty, and I live at 44 New York Avenue, and I've got questions for the 6 current council members. I've been speaking with many Metuchen residents who are worried about the impact of all the high-density building that's been going on recently, and specifically the impact on our water and sewage infrastructure. So the questions are, what is the state of this infrastructure? Is it sufficient to handle this growth? Or will we need upgrades soon? When will we have to pay for any upgrades? And when will we raise, if and when will we raise our taxes to do so? Those are my questions.
Those are your questions? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Flaherty. I know there's some people who have certainly concerns about that. But the reality is that every project, major, minor, everything in between project that this borough deals with is reviewed carefully. We talked about our land use bodies earlier, zoning, planning. There's lots of developer contributions that are required to the extent that there is an impact on infrastructure. We don't just leave that alone. We, for example, over the last couple of years, started to require all of the utility companies who are digging up our roads to, pave not just the half of their roads. It used to look like a checkerboard around this town where they would be on the left side of the street, then they'd be on the right side of the street. So one side would be paved, the other one was sort of cracked, and then the other side of the street would be paved, that side was cracked, and it wasn't the right thing. So we started requiring curb to curb, no matter what side of the street that the utility companies were working on. We required them to pave the entire road, which is how we've gotten a lot of our roads paved, frankly. As inconvenient as it can be sometimes for utility companies to come in, we've required them to do it. We required developers to do that as well. We have obviously a brand new sewer pump station, which took a really long time to put together. We do that because Edison for a long time was using our pump station, and we decided it would be very important for all of us to get together and do something to save money on both sides, which we were able to do. That was a shared service agreement that we're really proud of. It's not the kind of thing that's flashy. It's not as exciting as the Emergency Services Center that we're going to be talking about more later, but it's incredibly important every time someone on that entire side of town flushes a toilet or runs the shower, or when there's a huge storm, for example. That's infrastructure. We regularly work with Middlesex Water. We had a meeting with Middlesex Water as recently as a week and a half ago, I'd say, to talk about more infrastructure needs and some revamping and revising to current infrastructure. We keep up, and we do so in a way to make sure that this place is, modern and up to date. And, I think it's really important that residents understand that private developers who have property have rights. We are frequently pushing back with developers who may want to be in Metuchen, just like all of us do, or at least a lot of us do. We have people from out of town, so I don't want to throw them into that same batch. But we work really, really hard to make sure that developers don't just do whatever they feel like doing. They've got to, stick to our zoning, which is very stringent, and B, they've got to do something. But we also have to recognize that they have rights. They even have legal rights to potentially force us to allow them to develop on private property. And so we've got to be careful with that balancing act. And it's amazing how much we push back. And maybe you don't recognize that, maybe you don't know it, and maybe we need to talk about it more. But the reality is that this community, people are banging the doors down to develop here. And the fact that there's been as little, frankly, development in spite of how much that people are seeking is incredible, because it's an incredibly desirable place. And rental development right now is very popular among developers. There's a lot of money in it. And so we've got to continue to push back. We've got to continue to adopt ordinances that are in line. We've got to continue to upgrade our infrastructure as we have. And I'm going to turn to our borough administrator in a second. We are in the process of really putting together things like redevelopment agreements to make sure that not just zoning ordinances but also redevelopment agreements helps define an area and helps express our priorities as residents, not the developers' priorities. Go ahead. We have other infrastructure improvements that our borough administrator may want to mention.
Yeah, I just want to mention that in this past budget, actually even the year prior's budget, we're recognizing that we do have aging infrastructure. Instead of worrying about like if we have an issue with the sewer line that breaks or whatever the case may be, we usually have to declare an emergency. That's kind of the process that you have to do. But in this case, what we're doing is we're putting away money in our capital budget to ensure that if we do have those emergencies, we have this set aside. We are currently this year undertaking what we call a GIS mapping of the whole town for their sewer and stormwater. That has not started yet because there are only a few companies in the state that do it, and we're on a little bit of a waiting list, but certainly everything will be digitized, which will help us tremendously in the future to identify different things in terms of critical infrastructure and areas. And where a perfect example is in working with developers over at the Oakite site, or what is now the place where the Sportsplex is and all of the development that has happened there. One of the requirements in the redevelopment agreement was that owner had to go in and flush out the sewer line that was there and the stormwater line. He had to clean both out because we were having some difficulties, and that was one of the conditions of development. So we do take it very seriously. We do recognize that our infrastructure is old, and as we move forward, as the mayor said, it's not the sexy thing to talk about, but it's all the stuff underground. So we have been putting a very good foot forward to address some of these things in the future and be proactive.
Thank you. Any other comments from the community? Residents? No? Okay, thank you. At this time, is there a motion to close public session?
We don't normally do that, but I think you
Is
just
there a
close
motion
it.
to close?
I'll move to close public
Is there
session.
a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we're moving on.
I make a motion to approve Borough Council meeting minutes of September 8th, 2025.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right.
I make a motion to approve communications consent agenda items A through E.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Bunch of block parties.
Lots of 5 block parties. I don't see myself being invited so fast to block parties, jeez.
Sorry.
Yeah, don't tell Kathy. Invite me to some block parties because that just means more for us to do on weekends. Anyway, report of the Borough Administrator.
I just want to give a very big thank you and shout out to all the individuals that got us to the phase of being able to award this bid tonight. The fire department, Chief Rob Donnan and his team, Len Jermetsky, David Lathero, David Sahib, also EMS, Pete Faircloth, also the Chief of Police, Artie Flaherty, my team, which is Becky Cuthbert, the invaluable, indispensable Tom Harritz, who is our engineer, and also Dennis Murphy sitting up here. And also, even though we're paying them, it's been a wonderful collaborative experience with both H2M and Colliers, who are our construction engineers. We worked really, excuse me, we worked really diligently, but everybody did a lot more than was required to get us to this point. And as I try and remind the mayor, this is only the beginning. But it's a huge beginning in terms of getting to this point, and we're all really excited. And I just want to express a deep amount of gratitude to everybody that's been involved to get us to this point. Thank you.
Here, here.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, this is extraordinary, and we'll talk about that more in a little bit. But I just want to thank our Borough Administrator for keeping the ball in the air and to keeping her eye on the ball. This entire time. This has been a lot of obstacles. This was the top priority that the prior councils ago gave me when I first became mayor in December of 2017, which is remarkable. And we're just approving it. Well, hopefully you will all approve it in a couple of minutes. Council President?
Thank you, Mayor. I'll be brief. Busy weekend for my committees. Traffic and Transportation was at the farmers market, getting feedback from the community. Excited to hear about what they heard at our next meeting. And the MDA hosted their Metuchen Pops event. It was the second year that they've done this. They went twice as big this year. It was really great and fantastic. And I hope everyone had a chance to get out there and see and speak to a bunch of the artists and see the live art demonstrations happening. Really proud of the team that put that event together, and looking forward to next year's. They have their next event coming up is Haunted Downtown, which is towards the end of the month. Check out their social media and website for information about that. And yeah, I think that's my report.
Great. Okay, thank you very much. Councilmember Candell?
You do not sound good, by the way.
No?
No.
Are you sick?
You sound sick. Yeah. I'm glad I'm sitting next to you.
Doctor now?
I'm just happy I'm sitting next to you.
I was gonna say.
I mean, it's cough, cough, cough.
Did we look good,
Yeah.
sound good?
Cough,
All right,
cough,
listen,
cough.
Go ahead.
The Metuchen Fire Company is hosting their annual open house at the fire station on Friday, October 10th, from 6:30 to 8 o'clock p.m. It's always one of the best events of the year, so come out and meet our volunteer firefighters, tour the station and the equipment, and participate in fun firefighting activities. You can bring the entire family. The pool is hosting a concessionaire open house on October 1st, which is Wednesday, from 11 a.m. to noon at the Snack Shack at the pool. Prospective concessionaires are all welcome to come to the Snack Shack to tour the space and ask questions of the borough and pool representatives regarding the RFP that will be issued by the borough in early 2026. So if anyone in the public is aware of any potential concessionaires who may be interested in submitting an application in response to the upcoming RFP, please let them know about the open house. The Pool Commission will be meeting on October 14th at 7:30 p.m. at Borough Hall, and as always, the public is welcome to attend. That's all I have, Mayor.
Okay, thank you very much. Councilmember Jithwani?
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Couple of announcements about the library. The library's 2025 to 2030 strategic plan has been finalized, and if folks want to check out a two-page summary, it's available on the library website. It includes recommendations from our residents, and some of which folks will see have already been incorporated into the library, and that work will continue. The Friends of the Metuchen Library have their annual book sale, which I think is one of their largest events of the year. It takes place this year on Saturday, October 4th at the library from 9 to 3 p.m. And we have the library will have a children's author visit and story time with local author and teacher Jenny Misko on Sunday, October 5th at 2 p.m. And it will include crafts and a book signing, and registration is recommended. And then as library sign-up month is September, I guess we have one more day left. There's been a total of 184 either new cards or renewals this month. So if folks have been waiting to do it, you have one more day tomorrow, and obviously you can do it throughout the year, but it would be great to do it during this month. And then finally, the next Library Board of Trustees meeting is October 14th at 7 p.m. in the community room at the library. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Hyman?
Thank you. The Metuchen Parade Commission continues to plan their parade, the Winter Festival Parade. The theme this year is Light Up the Night, which I am very excited about. I feel it's very inclusive and can be very spectacular. The parade will be on November 30th at 4 p.m., the Sunday following Thanksgiving. The rain date for just the tree lighting, of course, the parade is followed by the tree lighting, but if there is rain, just the tree lighting will be moved to Sunday, December 7th. Registration for the parade will open on October 12th. Watch for our promotional video, which I'm very excited about too, on our social media, encouraging groups to register. But it's never too soon to start thinking about what group you might want to get together to be in the parade and how you might make it shiny and sparkly. We're confirming a lot of entertainment for the parade and for the events that'll happen on the plaza afterwards. The Rise Up Chorus Junior Children's Choir will be at the tree lighting. The Tinsel Tones will be performing again, and of course, there'll be the pictures in the plaza with Santa and Mrs. Claus. The community menorah lighting will be Wednesday, December 17th, with the rain snow date of Thursday, December 18th. The next meeting for the Parade Commission is October 21st at 7:15 p.m. Metuchen Cares public relations campaign, the Naloxone Saves Lives, will begin with the billboard on Route 27 in the same spot that it was last year's billboard. The billboard will be up from the end of September, which I hope it should be up now, through the end of the year. Magnets with the same graphics will be available to the public soon. Both the billboard and the magnets will lead you to the CDC website where naloxone and its use are described with more information about that. Also on the Borough website and our Facebook page. CARES Committee sponsored a summer programs at the YMCA called Forest Friends for campers at the Metuchen Y, kindergarten and first grade. The program provided by Wellsprings uses SEL to teach young children through interactive puppet shows. The teachers, campers, and administration were all very happy with the program and hope that it can be funded again next year. We've also provided a Footprints for Life program for second and third graders. Copies of a new book at the Stimulant Use Disorder by ASAM, along with previous opioid addiction treatment, are now available for CARES to distribute in the community. Our committee member, Jason Winhold, has been in touch with the interim SAC at Metuchen High School to offer to go to the high school to talk about and instruct students and groups on Narcan and its use and how to administer it. Jason will also give out Narcan's kits to anyone who attends and would like one. This may include sessions for the staff. Dates and times have not been scheduled yet. CARES has also been asked by both the First Presbyterian Church of Metuchen and Madison Bank to provide information tables for the Presbyterian Church. It'll be October 2nd from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. during their community pantry. Their community pantry will be open, and Madison Bank in November. Our next meeting will be November 13th at 7:15. And lastly, I'm excited to announce for the Board of Health, which has never had an announcement before, that we have arranged for Boyd's Drugs to receive sharps from our community members, which anybody who's been through anything, whether you have diabetes or been through in vitro fertilization and frozen embryo transfer, it's a lot of sharps, and often your very doctors won't accept them, so we're very excited that Boyce has agreed to take them. Right now, it's during normal operating business hours, but please bring them in safe containers, which is either a approved sharps container, or it can even be a small fabric softener or laundry detergent container, sealed. At this time, we're not going to be able to empty them and offer them back to you because we don't want the staff handling the sharps at all. But it is an exciting launch of a test program. So, and that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember John Boy?
Okay, well, I want to once again congratulate the Tree Ambassador Program for the 4 awards that they won over the last year or so. And also like to mention that the Shade Tree Commission this weekend, if you were not aware, had the tree count. And I went on Saturday to kind of see how many people showed up and what the setup was and all. And we had a bunch of volunteers. And we had devices to measure, like the diameters of the tree. We had information in color, color plates to give to all of the volunteers to identify trees. And a bunch of people went out for a couple of hours on several streets, and they also did it on Sunday. So I can't wait to bring the results of the little small snippet of tree information that we got from these volunteers. Also, the Shade Tree Commission will be meeting on the 7th of October, and the Environmental Commission, I believe, will be meeting on the 15th of October. And as usual, I'm going to mention things about the food bank at the First Presbyterian Church. They really need cereal. Even though they need lots of other things, a call has gone out. If anyone has a little extra cash that they can buy a couple of boxes of cereal and drop them over there, they need cereal most desperately. And that's my report.
Thank you. Councilmember Branch?
Thank you, everybody. For someone who's sung a lot in a professional group, Tyler, your announcement was off key, just a little bit. Just a little bit. Yeah. I will work on that. All right. Back to seriousness. All right, so my update, we're going to open with a collaboration between the Human Relations Commission and the Arts Council. So on October 4th, we will, in collaboration, reading verbatim, we will have a collaboration provide support to Magnolia Arts as they begin their Arts Week with a multicultural dance event at their studio 272 Lake Avenue. The HRC will present cultural context for each performance. And for more information, please see the website of McNolo Art. The rest of Arts Council updates. On Saturday, September 20th, we presented the second Metuchen Porch Fest. 16 musical groups performed at 8 homes. This event was coordinated by a volunteer committee headed by Colleen Liberts, I apologize if I got that slightly wrong, and Meg Loftus-Suchan in the audience here. We're supported by that day by additional volunteers. Huge success, attendance of over 1,000 people. Special thanks to Friends of Metuchen Arts, Metuchen Departments of Public Works, Metuchen Police Department, as well as the performers and people who came out. On Saturday, September 27th, I got to see some of this. We supported the Metuchen portion of the countywide Middlesex Jazz Festival, coordinated primarily by Lynn Mueller and Grace Shackney and supported by many volunteers. It was held in an auditorium at the Metuchen High School. Special thanks to the High School Board of Education, performing with the Metuchen Dance Center, doing a salute to the 75th anniversary of Peanuts. Happy birthday, Charlie Brown. And Metuchen High School Jazz Ensemble and Orchestra, the AAPI, Asian American Pacific Islander Jazz Collective, led by trombonist Peter Lynn and the highly regarded Sherry Miracle, I know I got that wrong, I apologize, and DIVA, Jazz Orchestra, I'll just call it Diva, and over 500 people attended. So, big arts month in Metuchen to close out September. Thank you, everybody. And we're getting into Halloween, seen one spooky movie already, personally, so very excited. If we look at the updates for the Rec Commission, 2 updates. So, it is spooky house time. Great time of year in the borough. So submit for your spooky house for the 2025 Halloween decoration contest through our Google form. Submissions are accepted until the 15th, with online voting being the 16th. Please take a look at the Recreation website. One more Recreation Halloween themed update. The Halloween painting contest, that will be on the 8th of October. That's a Wednesday at Campbell School. That is for grades K through 4. Young artists must provide their own smocks, assorted paintbrushes, pencil, and creative ideas. Recreation will supply paper and paint. And that's my update.
All right. Thank you, council member, and for the humor as well. You had a busy day at work, I know, so I get the humor out of it. Yeah,
it's my outlet tonight.
I get it.
Sorry.
I understand. No, I know.
Got to go right back to work.
But I want to thank a couple. I see. I know Samina's here from the library. There's a couple of library volunteers, people that I saw at the press conference the other day. It was just there's these feel good moments we have around here every once in a while in government. That being one of them. Formally having the senator and our assembly members, Senator Pat Dagnan, Rob Karabinchak, and Sterling Stanley here to talk about the importance of the $200,000 that they secured in the state budget for the library, as well as the launch of the library's capital campaign. That was really, really special. I know that there's a lot of residents who, in response to the campaign, started giving already, which is really great. I mean, that's what a library is. It's a community space, and anybody who can afford to support it, it's wonderful when they can, when there's these sort of joint and collective efforts underway. So that was wonderful. And, we have another couple exciting announcements to come this fall with respect to some great partnerships that we have with other levels of government. So that's just sort of the tip of the iceberg, which is great. That's the first thing. And then again, just to reiterate on the Emergency Services Center, tonight is a really, really big deal. I know we say things like that all the time. This has been an objective of this body for a very long time, decades, and I would say arguably before a number of us have ever lived here, because, the facility that our fire and now EMS is operating out of right now is inadequate. And we've known that. But, due to the hard work of Councilmember Candell and Council President Delia, our borough administrator, the fire department, the names were already, the worst part of this job is forgetting people because there's so many people involved. But the number one issue was always the location. And if you recall, those of us who've been here a long time and followed this debate for a long time know that there was nothing we could do to start moving toward this until we could figure out a location. And for so long, we figured out, could it be in the location, where it is now? Should we move it somewhere else? If we moved it somewhere else, where could we move it to? The conversation about where it should be, we're only 2.7 square miles. Well, what if it's this location? Well, that's privately owned, then the borough would have to put money. It was like this constant circle. And at some point, we just had to stop it all and just say, would the EMS consider moving in? Can we do something together, collective for the future? As we invest in infrastructure for the future, what is the answer? And I'm so excited. This is the second time we've gone out to bids on this. We're really excited that we're doing it with a project labor agreement, and we'll have some, organized labor helping us with putting this together, just like they're helping the schools, and that's been going very well, as I understand, and speaking to the superintendent. So this is a really, really great project that God willing, all of us will be around for to celebrate in a few years. And tonight, if the council votes this way, we will be moving forward on one of the most important things that any of us, no matter how long we're on this body, will have been able to say they did. So really proud of everyone here, and grateful for the work of so many in the fire department, the EMS, who's in a temporary home right now, and our borough administrator, Melissa, and Becky, and just, our architects and everyone. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for all the hard work, and let's, we've got a long way to go, but this is really the beginning. Tonight is the beginning, and we'll have, shovels in the ground in no time. Okay. That being said, we're now going to move on to the new business consent agenda, which will include our 2025-248, sorry, not 248, that was when I circled from one of the resident answers, 254, which will authorize ultimately the award of the Emergency Service Center project contract.
Let's do it. I make a motion to approve new business consent agenda resolutions 2025-239 to 2025-254.
There's been a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Yes. All right. Okay, other new business.
I make a motion to approve Resolution 2025-255, authorizing the payment of the bill list in the amount of $5,572,256 on the money.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Council President?
I make a motion to adjourn.
There's been a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, good meeting tonight. Thanks to all the residents that came out. Thanks for all the non-residents that came out. And see you soon. Thank you.